I want people living on this earth right now to be able to experience this type of amazing sort of thing. And a lot of us are stuck in situations where we aren't enjoying pleasures like we should be as human beings on this earth. Every time someone passes away, we realize how short of a time we really have here and how much we really got to take advantage of any opportunity that we have available to us so that we can go out there and live the life that we deserve. And so one of the biggest things that I'm against, and the reason why I created this page, is to bring people's agency back. And agency is one of those words that, what does that mean? And I picture agency as our ability to control our situation and take advantage of things in our lives. And so if we don't have agency, opportunities are going to be slipping us by. We're not going to be living the life that we desire. And we're going to be just possibly numbing ourselves on the way through life. And one of the great things about numbing yourself is you don't feel things. And one of the worst things about numbing yourself is you don't feel things. And I learned this lesson over 10 years ago, maybe 13 years ago, whatever. I was on opiates. And believe me, I was happy on opiates. I was fine. It's the problem is I was only happy from the opiates. Nothing else brought me joy. And I learned this on a roller coaster. And I was at Knott's Berry Farm on one of my favorite ones, other than Accelerators, Montezuma's Revenge. I was on that loop-de-loop part, and I felt nothing. And that was when I learned that numbing your way through life is not the answer. And that was the beginning of a journey of bringing feelings back into my life. Now, recently, last year, I spent a year off of marijuana just to figure out what it was like, and because it was something that I believed that I wanted to experience, because I was kind of controlled by this product, and I wanted to get rid of things that controlled my life. And one of the things that was wild to me was I was frustrated that I didn't have the, stoner sensation. Although I had all these other feelings in my life that were amazing that I haven't really felt the full value of, like boredom, which was kind of interesting, but also like riding a bike was absolutely fantastic. Going to the gym was one of the biggest rushes. It was amazing. I look forward to going to the gym quite often. And without it, I was like, oh, I need that. Just like I did with my marijuana. I was like, oh, I need that. And so when we take away from numbing agents in our lives, we naturally add to our lives in other aspects, which could be great. But I fall so deeply and quickly into the substances area. My biggest passion is bringing you joy and experiences that you desire. And so how we do that is, big things that I'm against is wasting our lives in a direction that doesn't benefit us. For example, a career that underpays us and doesn't thank us, doesn't appreciate us. We want to feel joy when we work, at least some. And if we're not getting enough financial funds to take care of our health, to put some away, to get decent food on the table, and possibly some experiences like going to Hawaii like I am right now, which actually doesn't have to be that expensive. I'll deal with that later, but we can lower our standards of a vacation to actually get a vacation. But if we're not experiencing these things, then we need to make some changes. We need to become more efficient and use our mind and bodies together in a method to where we actually make progress instead of waking up it's very hopeless when you wake up and you're in the same place you were yesterday. And especially if you wake up and you're in the same place you were last month, last year, or maybe even fallen behind. Now, life always has its ups and downs. Nothing goes on a trajectory of just up. You're going to have corrections, and it's healthy to have corrections in life. And it's almost great to embrace those corrections. But when our corrections seem to always just be like, there's no ups, life can be kind of sad without any ups. And it's so common nowadays. There's so many institutions and people out in the world that are just here to suck away from you. They suck away from you, your life. And they're taking your life and they're putting it into their life and they don't even know what to do with it. And so let's take back that power. Let's take back that agency, that word. Let's take that back from them. That's our life. That's our life to enjoy. And let's enjoy it. Let's make that extra money. And if it's not happening where we're at right now, well, then we need to find a way to move to another area in life, have another strategy to where we can regain the energy that we put out into the world and capitalize on it. If you're not a slave, then you're free. And I know that people and governments have this bits of our freedom. It's just, you're still free. You still have the ability to make decisions in your life. And that's huge. And so let's capitalize on that. So ways that we're going to capitalize that, mainly in my eyes, is by combining soft skills with hard skills. And soft skills is crazy. It could be a whole life journey getting soft skills. And what is soft skills? Like punctuality, professional appearance, countenance, mood, health, like the way you show up, the way you look. If you're really skinny, if you're the opposite, it doesn't always work out the best. Sometimes people overlook you. And if that's frustrating, I agree. That is frustrating. There's usually something we can do about it, though. And if you look at yourself, like, what have I been doing about that lately? Well, sometimes it's not much. We haven't been eating right. We've been super stressed out. Stress is a huge factor in destroying our lives. And you're going to have stress. It's not going to go away. And stress can be addicting. So can depression. If you've been really sad lately and you've been soaking in it, I wonder how much of that has been fun for you. Let's kick out of that. Let's have fun doing something else. We don't have to have fun being super depressed and the saddest person all the time. We don't need to have an identity around this. So combining soft skills and hard skills, we all know what hard skills are. We go to college, we go and we learn things, we get a certificate. Those are hard skills. We're able to fix a lawn, we're able to trim a tree correctly. We're able to do math correctly, to build an app. We're able to, do doctor surgery type stuff. Those are hard skills. It's just that, let's say you're a surgeon and you show up, you haven't shaved, your hair's all mangy, right? The hair's going to get in your patient. You come in all blah, How is your patient going to feel? What if you were a patient and you walk in and your doctor comes in all schlubby and sad? Morose, let's do your surgery. How much are you going to want to pay that doctor? You're going to find a different doctor. And so this goes to show that we can't just have hard skills and then show up with life without soft skills and expect for life to give us anything. We have to take what we deserve in life and we have to create what we deserve in life. And sometimes we don't deserve much. Sometimes we're not putting much out into the world, and the world gives us exactly what we're equivalent to. Now, of course, we could look out and we could see these, trust fund babies and stuff like that out having a great time, but are they? Sometimes they didn't work for that, and sometimes they feel like they don't deserve it. I don't know trust fund babies though, so I can't really speak on that. It's just, I do know that there's a certain amplitude of depression that goes along with not earning your success. And so that's a gift for you, is that you've earned every single piece of success that you have, even if it's a very small amount. You've earned it. So let's be proud of that and let's add to it. Let's capitalize to it. Let's start waking up and getting some sunlight in on us. The early morning sunlight with that angle of the sun in the morning, it's amazing on our mood and our countenance. Why not grab that? Let's take a couple minutes and grab that. If you're at work and you're able to take a break, a few minutes, let's go outside and just, call it a smoke break. You don't have to smoke. You're the smoke show out there. I'm going to be a smoke show outside for a bit. It's my smoke break, So that's these things start to change us over time. You're not going to see a difference in 1, 2, 3 days, but you give yourself 6 months, a year, even 3 months maybe, and you've been exercising a little bit. You've been doing some stretching and taking care of your back and your shoulders and your mind, physical exercise, and the sunlight, getting outside, going for walks, eating healthy food, talking to good people, that grows you. That's exciting. And if people are dragging you down and you're already down, well, unfortunately, you have to tell those people, look, I can't go down anymore. I'm going to have to let you go for a bit. You're going to have to latch on to somebody else or take care of yourself, despite how much I love you. I love myself more. I have to love myself more, because if I don't, I'm not going to have anything to love you with. And I love you. And so to love you, I have to let go for a bit. And it's really sad. Although we get over it, because you know what happens? We build ourselves after that, and we feel better. And that is the person we truly have to live with. You only have so many years out here, and a chunk of your years might be spent in a bed at the end of your life. And you're going to be thinking back on all of the great memories that you've had. And if you don't have great memories to look back on, what was the point? To help Target make money? No, that doesn't make sense. And it's difficult right now. It's definitely difficult. It is not impossible. Back in the day when the people were out sword fighting, and you didn't have antibiotics, and that wasn't fair either. You can spend your whole life doing your best as you can. You don't have internet, you don't have research. They aren't letting you learn things that the rich kids are learning. And you have to go out and fight wars or whatever back then. It was not great. Would you rather trade what you have now for that? I wouldn't. I'd rather have this bullshit. So what if Amazon's taken over the world? So what if this world's going to explode and just crumble from emissions? There's nothing that's going to stop this right now. This world right now is set in a pattern, okay? And the airplanes are flying, and the cars are driving, and even going to work or buying an apple uses emissions. And so we're not going to get around it, so we have to learn to accept it and then do the best that we can with it to make it better. Because if you're not investing in yourself to the point where you have overflowing ability to help yourself, now you can start to help the world. And so if you really, really are despised and disgusted by the way the world is right now, the world needs you to invest in yourself so that you can help us fix it. Because if you're out there struggling every day to take care of yourself, you can't help the world that much. Now, I got to give it to you. The fact that you're taking care of yourself and not pulling from other people is a huge benefit to the earth. That's a minimum layer right there. If you are requiring other people's help for you to just live, and especially if you don't have kids, I would highly look into that. Because you might feel crappy. You might feel like I'm a piece of shit. You might feel super depressed. And that makes sense. Look at where you're at. I mean, that's frustrating and saddening. I'm not trying to beat you down. I'm trying to say, let's take a look at that and let's make some changes. Let's get some oomph into us and realize that we have something to get to, something to strive for, to where we're not having to pull from other people. And when we can become self-sufficient, that is a huge milestone. And so if you already have that milestone, congratulations. The world is not being detracted from for you existing. And so once we get to that milestone, then we can build from there. Okay, now how do we build ourselves to where we can actually give back and get fulfillment in our lives? What is our passion? What is our true meaning for living? And sometimes people don't, it's just enjoyment and comfort. And that's cool, man. If you're, like I said, if you're able to not pull from other people and have comfort and enjoyment, then that's huge. Keep living your life. You could live totally cool that way. That's fine. If that's not working for you and you want to do more, well, now you got to really engage a little more. You got to think a little harder. Use that extra. And what happens is a lot of times when we have these callings to help the world and we get all depressed about what's going on in the world, we, instead of like engaging super hard and making our lives great so that we can spin this dial a little in the direction that we want to, instead of doing that, we just numb out. I know, because I did it for many years. I was like, oh, I want to do all this stuff. And but I don't want to do, I can't do it right now, and I'm not doing it. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to, oh, that's amazing. Oh, it's hilarious. Oh, that's funny. Let's let's just have a good evening, because all these evenings don't add up to anything, do they? Yes, they do. Other things we could have done that evening was got down the homework and come up with ideas and progressed and maybe exercised and made ourselves healthier, got some extra sleep. One of the biggest things I learned from not smoking every day is I just started sleeping a lot more. And it's amazing. And it was only a 1-year project of not smoking. And at the end of the year, I decided, okay, now I can start putting this back into my life again because I do enjoy it. And I went way overboard. And I was getting stoned every day, except for 6 days in January. And so I realized I don't like this life. Like, I want a little less. And that's just me. You know, you might be a little different. That's totally fine. I'm just explaining my story. And we could substitute the substance for anything. You know, apple pies. You know, if you eat a ton of apple pies, you might feel a little sick. So, yeah. So now I'm probably at about half of my days, and just a little bit usually, just a little bit sometimes. You know, but I still count it. It's still participating in the activity. That's about the accountability calendar. You can check that out in my profile. A lot of people have liked the accountability calendar, and the accountability calendar has helped me. Just for 2 cents on it, what I do is every day I put an X mark or a check mark on a calendar of whether or not I participated in an activity that I'm trying to limit. And no judgment, just mark it. And then I look back 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, and I can see the patterns. I can see how much of my life went to this item. So that's the accountability calendar. I don't want to go forever on this. It's just I'm here in Hawaii, and I want other people to be able to experience this amazing, beautiful island. I want people to experience their version of Hawaii. Maybe they want to go to Colorado. Maybe they want to go to Washington or Costa Rica or Bali. Or I'm sure you want to go somewhere. I'm sure you talk about doing cool things. Let's get there. Let's do it. There's ways around it. For example, last time I went to Hawaii, I was here a few weeks. Well, that's a signal to end, right? I was here a few weeks. I stayed at a hostel, $40 a night, and I rented a Turo for like $30 a day. Probably a little more than that with fees and stuff, you know, but I used airline miles on a cheap day. I flew on a Tuesday and flew back on a Tuesday, and I was able to spend weeks out in Waikiki. Y'all have a beautiful day. Let's get engaged. Let's take on this world. Let's make some change. Let's live the life we want. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Peace.